What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Commentating Cristian YouTube channel, where today I'm going to start a new series that's going to be a pretty regular series on my YouTube channel, something that I had so much fun doing in my previous podcast, 90 and 60 plus, but I'm going to basically recap the previous match week in the Premier League. So for those of you that are too busy to watch every single game in the Premier League, every single weekend, every single match day, this series is for you. This series can also be for those that absolutely love the game, love the Premier League, think it's the most competitive in the world, but again, don't have time to really sit down, only watch a few matches, and don't really have time to watch the highlights either. So this series is for you guys. I'm going to be basically breaking down every single match in the Premier League and keeping you guys updated with who the top scorer is, top assister, what the Premier League table looks like, biggest storylines, takeaways, etc. So this series that we're just going to name for now the Premier League Recap Matchday X is going to be taking place every single week. How we're going to break it down is into 3 different categories. We're going to break it down into other smaller matches, the mid-card, and the main event. Now I'm going to go out of order a little bit, and I'm going to start with the mid-card matches, and then right before the main event, I'm going to talk about other smaller results that happened in the Premier League. Starting off with a bit of surprise where Sunderland actually upset Chelsea, thanks to a late winner by Moroccan international Kemzi Taldi. Now what I found ironic in this game is that Mark Guihu actually started up top for Chelsea. This is his second straight start in the week after starting midweek in the Champions League versus Ajax. But for those of you that don't remember, Mark Guihu actually started the season out on loan at Sunderland and actually scored a goal for them in a cup competition before being recalled back to Chelsea following Liam Delap's injury. Now, surprisingly, Sunderland are 4th in the Premier League, doing a lot better than most people expected them to be, while their fellow promoted clubs Burnley and Leeds are also sitting mid-table just above the relegation zone in both 16th and 17th place. So here's to all 3 newly promoted teams actually staying up in the Premier League for the first time in a while. After the previous 2 seasons, all 3 teams that went up went right back down. Moving on to Newcastle's win over Fulham that keeps them comfortably in the mid-table position, while this loss for Fulham sends them just above the relegation zone. Going into the second half, the game was tied 1-1 with all to play for, and Bruno Guimaraes actually had a chance to seal the victory for Newcastle in the 62nd minute with a header that he accidentally put wide. This chance was created very impressively by star striker Voltemaier, who actually flicked the ball up pretty impressively, laid it off to Anthony Gordon. Gordon then crossed it into the box, and again, Guimaraes just could not put it on target. But in the 90th minute, he made up for this mistake by tapping in a chance that was spilled by the Fulham goalkeeper and sealing the win for Newcastle. Moving on to some bigger Premier League results where Man United actually picked up their 3rd consecutive win in the Premier League, and guys, it finally looks like this bloke is going to cut his hair. Matheus Cunha finally scored his first goal in the red shirt for Man United after a nice layoff by his fellow countryman Casemiro. Then Casemiro himself 10 minutes later put the ball in the back of the net, albeit off a massive deflection by one of the Brighton midfielders, Ayari. Then, in the second half, Mbeumo scored 2 goals in the 61st and 96th minute. For a second there, it looked like Brighton had a little bit of hope when they brought the game back 3-2, but then in the dying minutes of the stoppage time in the second half, Mbeumo put the last goal away to make it 4-2 for the Red Devils. Now, over the weekend, I actually put out my first analyst video where I specifically recapped, how I would personally fix Man United's issue, but I'm telling you right now, boy oh boy do I look stupid now that United are 3 games for the good, and once again it looks like this guy is finally going to be able to cut his hair. Ruben Amorim is picking up momentum and his team is looking stronger as the weeks progress, but there are still some glaring issues defensively, but we'll see how he pursues next week. United now also sit in 6th place, tied on points with their city rivals Manchester City. Another pretty big result from the Premier League this past weekend was Brentford actually upsetting current Premier League champions Liverpool. Within the first 45 minutes, Brentford were already up 2-0 thanks to goals from Ouattara and Sharde. But then late in the first half stoppage time, Milos Kerkic actually pulled one back for Liverpool, giving them hope in the second half. In the second half, Igor Thiago actually converted a penalty to score his 6th Premier League goal of the season, putting Brentford back in the comfortable lead with the 3-1 lead. Thiago, who is actually 2nd in the Premier League top goal scorers list, right next to Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth, both on 6. Then, in the 88th minute, Mohamed Salah would pull one back for Liverpool, but it would be too late as Liverpool have suffered their 4th straight loss in the Premier League. Liverpool are still currently 7th in the Premier League table, far off their form that they were performing on last season when they became the Premier League champions. Oh, and also, just to rub salt in the wounds of Liverpool, star midfield signing Florian Wirtz is still yet to contribute a goal or assist. Moving on now, Aston Villa extends their Premier League winning streak to 4 games in a row as they comfortably beat Manchester City 1-0. Matty Cash's lone goal in the 19th minute was enough to seal the victory for Aston Villa, while Pep Guardiola and his side are still struggling to find their form as they sit currently in 5th place. Now, City did have their chances in this game, but Emi Martinez came up big when called upon, making 3 saves. Now, both teams have tough opponents next week as Man City play 2nd place Bournemouth, and Aston Villa will try to extend their winning streak to 5, but they have to beat current Premier League champions Liverpool in order to do so. Moving on, Tottenham Hotspurs actually bounced back after a loss from Aston Villa last week as they beat Everton 3-0. Spurs currently sit 3rd place in the Premier League, and they won this game pretty comfortably thanks to 2 goals from set pieces where Mickey Van de Ven put it in the back of the net, and then a 3rd goal came later on thanks to Pepe Matesar. So that was what I call the mid-card bulk of this video, or the Premier League recap. Now we're going to move on to other smaller results. On Friday, Leeds beat West Ham 2-1 thanks to goals from Joe Rodon and Brendan Aronson. For the primary American audience, I bet it's going to be nice to see Brendan Aronson scoring his first Premier League goal of the season, especially leading up to the 2026 World Cup on home soil. Meanwhile, West Ham are still struggling down in the relegation zone alongside Wolverhampton Wanderers and Nottingham Forest, who both also lost this past weekend. Wolves lost 3-2 to Burnley after Lil Foster scored a winning goal in the 95th minute to secure the win for the newly promoted side. And Nottingham Forest lost 2-0 to Bournemouth, who again sits 2nd in the Premier League table, all behind league leaders Arsenal, who we're going to talk about right now in the main event section. So Arsenal extend their lead at the top of the Premier League table as they beat Crystal Palace in a very, very tight game. 1-0 was the final result, but that was enough to secure all 3 points for Arsenal. Now that's 7 wins in a row in all competitions for Mikel Arteta and his side. 4 points clear at the top of the table, and star signing Eberiche Eze scoring the only goal in this game, surprise, surprise, off a set piece. Now, for those of you that didn't catch my sarcasm in that last comment, Arsenal have scored 11 goals from set pieces this season. Now, to emphasize that even more, that's 11 goals out of 16th just in the league alone. Arsenal clearly have a knack for scoring set piece goals, as last season they scored 20 of their 56 league goals, all from the set piece. That is 35% of their goals coming from set pieces, and that's just in league play. If you were to extend that stat to all competitions, that number actually rises to 39%. Now, I don't know about you guys, but set piece coach Nicholas Jover definitely deserves a raise for all the hard work he's put in at the Emirates Stadium. So that was it for my Premier League recap of match day 9. Top of the Premier League table looks like this: Arsenal in 1st, Bournemouth in 2nd, Tottenham in 3rd, Sunderland in 4th, Manchester City in 5th, Man United in 6th, Liverpool 7th, Aston Villa 8th, and Chelsea in 9th place. As mentioned before, we have in the relegation zone Wolverhampton Wanderers in 20th, just above them is West Ham, and then just above West Ham is Nottingham Forest. Top goal scorers for the Premier League thus far are Erling Haaland. Despite not scoring this past weekend, he still has 11 goals in 9 matches. As mentioned before, Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth and Igor Thiago from Brentford both tied in 2nd place with 6 goals apiece. And then Danny Welbeck and Jean-Philippe Mateta from Brighton and Crystal Palace respectively each have 5 goals as well. On to the assist chart, Jack Grealish has been on absolute fire since joining Everton from Manchester City. Currently has 4 assists. Mohamed Kudus also has 4. Hartman from Burnley is a big reason why his team is sitting above the relegation zone right now, also has 4 assists. And then just behind Hartman does sit Antoine Semenyo of Bournemouth, a player that's been on absolute fire this season. 3 assists to accompany his 6 goals so far this season, and is playing a massive part in Bournemouth's success so far. So that was it, you guys. That was my Premier League recap for the week. Make sure you tune in next week to make sure that you guys don't miss any action from the Premier League. Let me know in the comments if you guys enjoy this type of content, if you guys want to see me maybe expand to other Europe's top 5 leagues. I would love to do so, but just let me know if you guys would like to see that. As always, thank you for coming back to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.